Oh, where do I even begin with this absolute tragedy of an institution called Høgskulen på Vestlandet? Picture this, you, a bright-eyed student, full of dreams, stepping into what you think will be the gateway to your future. Instead, you are met with a dystopian nightmare, a place where logic goes to die and common decency is a myth. Let me paint you a picture, darling. Imagine sitting in a classroom where the instructor, a real human being with a degree, supposedly looks you dead in the eye and tells you that skipping a family funeral is the correct choice because school comes first. Not just any school, mind you, a school where the rules are made up and your well-being does not matter. This is not just bad thighs is morally bankrupt. Funerals are for closure, for grief, for love. But no, Høgskulen på Vestlandet would rather you sit in class, choking back tears because missing a single lecture means you fail. And speaking of failing, the failing. The attendance policy is a joke written by clowns. You are allowed to miss only 20% of classes. 20%. That means if you get sick, like actually sick, not just I do not want to go sick. If you have surgery, if you are hospitalized, if you are literally dying, it does not matter. You must drag your half-dead body to class, coughing up a lung, because if you dare miss one extra day, you are banned from exams. One whole year of your life wasted, because rules are rules and empathy is for weaklings. But wait, it gets better, the teaching, it is non-existent. You would think paying tuition means actual professors teaching you, but no. Here you get video lectures, glorified YouTube videos, and not even good ones. The kind where the audio is muffled, the slides are from 2005, and the professor sounds like they are reading from a dictionary while half asleep. And then surprise, a quarter of the class fails the exam. But do not worry, it is totally your fault for not learning from a PowerPoint made during the Stone Age. Now let us talk about the communication, or should I say, the lack of it. Important information, you get it last minute. Need to plan your life? Too bad. The school operates on the principle of you will know when we feel like telling you. Study plans, forget it. If you have ADHD, you're screwed, because how are you supposed to organize your life when the school cannot even send an email on time? And the facilities, the facilities, the chairs, designed by sadists, the desks, wobbly tiny with no outlets because who needs electricity in the 21st century? The classrooms feel like prison cells, except prisons probably have better Wi-Fi. And if you have a job, heaven forbid, good luck balancing it with their surprise internship placements. 3 weeks notice for a mandatory internship. When you need a month to quit your job, hilarious, absolutely hilarious, but the best part, the trust issues. The professors treat you like a criminal, forget to print a handout, public shaming. Leave 5 minutes early because you have a train to catch, full absence for the entire class. They wait until the end to take attendance like some twisted power play. And do not even get me started on the professor who threw student work in the trash. Yes, literally threw it away, because nothing says higher education like watching your hard work get tossed like yesterday's garbage. This is not a school, this is a scam. A taxpayer-funded nightmare where students are treated like nuisances, not people. And the worst part, no one listens, complaints vanish into the void, feedback forms non-existent. You are screaming into the abyss and the abyss just shrugs. So here's my advice, sweet souls, run far, run fast. Your time, your energy, your sanity are worth more than this glorified diploma mill. Høgskulen på Vestlandet does not care about you, but I do, and that is...
I was looking into crimes near Høgskulen på Vestlandet because my cousin wanted to visit for 2 weeks and I got scared for her, you know. The shop's right there. They smile extra wide when they see you holding a map, and that is never a good sign. First story, the wool sweater place next to the tram stop. They keep the price tag turned backwards, so you ask, and they say, oh, it is 349 kroner, super calm. Then they run your card, and the little machine beeps for 349. You say wait, and they already wrapped it in paper like a baby you cannot return. I predict the tourist just stared at the receipt while the tram left, then walked back to the hostel counting how many dinners that money could have been. The shop probably did it 3 more times that same afternoon, because who will fly back here to complain over a sweater? Second story, the souvenir kiosk with the troll keychains. They have a sign card minimum 200 kr, but when you hand them cash, they give change in old coins that the bus stopped accepting in 2022. You figure it out later when the driver shakes his head. I bet the tourist stood there blocking the aisle, face red, while locals sighed. The kiosk just kept those worthless coins in the drawer for the next visitor, like recycling sadness. Third story, the tiny grocery by the student dorms. Shelves look normal, but they do not print prices on anything. You grab a bottle of water, it scans for 45 kr at the till. Next day, same bottle, new sticker, 65 kr. You ask, they shrug, weekend price. I imagine the tourist laughed once, then stopped buying snacks, lived on bread from the big supermarket 10 minutes away. The store still does it because students are too tired to argue, and tourists are gone in 2 weeks anyway. So yeah, around Høgskulen P Vestlandet the rule is if the price is not on the item, the price is whatever they think you will pay before your face falls. And when your face falls, they already have your money, so they practice that smile again for the next person stepping off the tram with a map.
We will now look at what the businesses near Høgskulen P Vestlandet are like for a traveller who wants to know what to expect. The overall picture is one of disappointment hidden behind bright signs. Most places seem to promise convenience, culture and comfort, yet the reality often feels cramped, overpriced and poorly managed. I feel a sense of melancholy when I walk through this area, as if the promises of a modern city have been replaced by a maze of misplaced ambition. Shopping complexes in this neighborhood tend to be chaotic and difficult to navigate. The large center known as Høgskulen Store Center is the most vivid example. Visitors often complain that the parking system charges hidden fees and forces them to use an outdated app that feels like a relic from another decade. The layout of the building resembles a jungle of corridors where even the signs seem to have lost their way. Families looking for a quiet place to change a baby find the mother rooms locked and the changing tables absent, leaving them to wonder why a public space would hide such basic facilities. The noise level and the never-ending crowds make the center feel more like a bustling market than a relaxed shopping destination. Some shoppers even describe the experience as a shopping hell because they have to wander in circles to find an exit. The modern stores on the outer edges are praised, but the inner section is described as a disaster of architecture. Restaurants and cafes near the campus share a common thread of unreliability and confusing service. It feels as if securing a table is an elaborate treasure hunt that rarely ends in success. The establishment Horn of Africa illustrates this pattern. Diners report that reservations are ignored, doors are locked without warning, and staff appear uninterested in accommodating guests, even when the dining room is nearly empty. When a table is finally obtained, the food often arrives with an overwhelming amount of cardamom, leaving the palate feeling assaulted rather than satisfied. Prices are described as horrendous compared with the small portions served, and the overall service feels sluggish, as if the kitchen is moving at a snail's pace. Smaller coffee spots such as Albatrossen Cafe do not escape the trend of vague disappointment. Reviews are sparse and provide little detail, suggesting that the cafe may be offering a forgettable experience that does not inspire visitors to write more than a brief comment. The lack of strong feedback can be read as a sign that the cafe fails to leave a memorable impression. Nightlife venues and event spaces in this area display an unsettling level of arbitrariness in entry policies. The academic quarter, which hosts concerts and bar activities, appears to enforce rules unevenly. Patrons have recounted being denied entrance while others, who seemed more intoxicated, were allowed to pass. The security staff are described as having an excessive desire for control, making guests wait for long periods and then refusing admission without clear explanation. In one incident, a concert ticket was charged for a performance that had already ended, leaving a group of students feeling cheated out of their money. Age restrictions for special events are sometimes hidden until the last moment, turning anticipation into frustration. Boutique retail experiences for tourists are also fraught with difficulty. The shop called BRGN Concept Store Bistro advertises itself as a destination for travelers arriving by train, yet the return policy is rigid. A customer who bought a jacket that did not fit was offered only a voucher valid for a year rather than a refund, making the purchase feel like a trap for visitors who cannot easily return to the store. Wine bars, which one might expect to offer a cozy atmosphere, often fall short of that promise. Drapen Vinbar is repeatedly described as cold, both in temperature and in service.
The pizza served there is thin, overly salted, and appears to be made from pre-made dough, leading diners to feel they have been scammed. The kitchen seems unable to maintain proper temperatures, resulting in food that tastes of gas and is served in an unclean environment. One patron observed a manager harassing a young guest, suggesting that the staff may not treat customers with the respect they deserve. Complaints about unclean tables and malfunctioning heating further emphasize a neglect of basic hospitality standards. In summary, travelers staying near Høgskulen P Vestlandet should be prepared for a landscape where many businesses promise more than they deliver. Parking fees may be hidden, dining reservations can be ignored, and venues may enforce rules in an unpredictable manner. The overall atmosphere feels like a puzzle with missing pieces, and the occasional humor in the absurdity of the situations does not fully mask the underlying